In the checkpoint, I was all arms, all face, after Ben Krusling's Glaring, by Asiya Wadud. What animal emburdens me with its own barren heart? Barrenness to wonder, then the upstream, so the upstream. Time and again, I've held the wilted photograph to my face to smell it, make of it an arrangement, then bouquet, cursed it, or cruise through, let the time orient to justice, the precipice, then court it. The cattle prod is a discipline in the nightstick or anathema, disciple in heaven can wait, jurisdiction or redlined or heaven can wait. All my palm-bearing witnesses, or replete with the witch window left open to warrant, to gain a vantage of the field which I lay with seeds and ruin. Hemmed up inside the seeds were the witnesses, white-knuckled and clawing at the fixtures by the ceiling, so cawing then a gentle forgiveness governs me. Laid bare the jurisdiction, 10 years at a time. All dare to climb the column and lay in wait, laced and lurked and comforted by the hinge of attrition meets monument, meets facsimile on the page, which or do it again. I'm no longer burdened by anything with the black mark or the black mark. Let its insides speak as organ and filament, lace or lattice. Let its organ spill out, the gapped seam zippered but still reckless, forlorn and rough cut, a pennant in the end. The striation in the leaf is its own leverage, is its own language. I am not governed by the island or the island in me, mired by the island or the island in me, or the distance always made me a shrill thin line, more sudden than the long gaze, to this could be a future. The day spills in its own accord then, breaches the levee then, the lake drained. All lakes breach the levee, and the lake drains. A monument rests at the bottom of the grate, memorial to still life, still thimble-filled stillness, and placed as a coda or footnote. I am a green leaf, disciple of chlorophyll, round robin of green leaf, dim the planter and the water, drain the lake region, then the gutters. The surge comes when it comes. All citizens build a retaining wall or a wailing wall or a scrim. All residents build the scrim. A sieve which lets the water in when it comes, lets the trickle through to let it breathe. I cut a pathway lengthwise when all vertical space was spent, aware that it was a given. Dare not climb the column or rest it vertically, hinged on all fours, then hinged on all sevens. Hinged at the beginning, begged for the middle, begged for weft and end. Drain the alkaline lake and take stock of the retaining wall. Let the load meant to bear it bear the load. See how the retaining wall bends, swerves, and genuflects. Or the alkaline lake hovers back at the bottom, all use spent. Acid rises to the surface hinged. Or the plastics hover at the bottom, all use spent. Acids resist the hinge. What kind of place is this? I have nothing. Barrenness to wonder, then the upstream. So the upstream.
Light shows. Blueface, C-SPAN on Panama, Young M.A., How to Pronounce Malfeasance, BET Awards, Voice Projection, Joan Jonas, Lizards Are Awesome, Grouper, Children, Raw Vietnam, Vietnam War 1970, This Is Your Life, Hannah, Naomi Osaka, Max B, Blow Me a Dub, At Home with Max B, Racist Bugs Bunny, Dagbladette, She Is Giving Birth in a Car, GoPro, Childbirth, GoPro, Escape Just Kickin', The Cheap, Irish versus Gaelic, Rico Nasty in the Air, Josephine Baker's Banana Dance, Spooked Horses, Vampire Running, Mary Wigman Dancer, Take K the Race, Sun Ra Nuclear War, His Autotune Stops Working, Spiritual Baptist, Bizarre Video of Sobbing, Commander Warfree's a Poem, Warhol Screen Tests, Raw Combat Footage, Iraq, ISIS Convoy, Decimated by Helicopters, Al Jolson, Going to Heaven on a Mule, Earl performs 2 new songs at Free Show, Noi, German pronunciation, Off-White, Fall, Winter, How to Use a Camcorder, Tips, Ann Curry crying at saying goodbye, Reagan assassination, Flashback the invasion, Meet the Judge, who went viral for his creative punishments.
Fireworks are primarily an attitude about the world they explode in, only secondarily an argument for how light and sound should behave. Watching the US invade in grainy green digital, sick digital, low resolution, I was filled with hostility. The Black Knight blew apart on cable, a great essentialism knocks. The object ate the subject, break. I was filled with fear at home, Page. I put myself aside, confessing, one is bound to whatever comes to one's consciousness. Media madness, a trembling global affect. I'll tell you what I want. For all the vapid, heroic writing you have. More mind and mind, voluminous motion. Chop nausea, screwed luminousness.
Voluminous motion.
More mind and mind, voluminous motion. Chop nausea, screwed luminousness. More mind and mind, voluminous motion. Chop nausea, screwed luminousness.
Motion.
The artifact being thought the most beautiful thing. I thought I was near where Malcolm was shot, then I realized I was wrong. We were blessed with these sensitivities, navigating a landscape that varies its networks of trouble, change over time. In fact, the building, which was not where I was, though I was near there, is decorated with terracotta glazed polychromy, incrustations and cornices, gaudy colors in the Hellenistic style. My face crushed against the wiki page on which I was reading this, collecting material for a treatment. I was there, having realized I was wrong in the memory of being somewhere else. Was I being spoken to, I wondered, not being the only voice possible in that area? The idea of violence from an old photograph, the setting of someone up, is digital. Weaving these things through one another as habit and then intent, because I was scared and without equipment, navigating that gaudily. Then that historical feeling, thinking one is where something happened that one is thinking about, then not being there but feeling that. The world peopled as it is with hallucinations, justice being not among them but thought of also, experiencing conspiracy as a digital product. Anxious, setting the scene while isolating the voice, people themselves being so small on the sidewalk, people themselves dying so violently, the memory of that hanging, as at that moment I was having my small, different experience, heading more slowly and apparently elsewhere, being young, after all, looking upward, as I'm describing myself at that time, encrustations looming. To heaven on a mule. My dream of heaven was an ice cream factory, but it echoed blackface heaven from a few minutes earlier, and all wishes brained on the marvel of televised limbo where production assistants line up lights and vanish, drag social pain into procedures that taste great on camera. People, in that sense, reviewing memory produces artifacts, long static renditions of blackface, heaven, so they try to shred the Bush years with vocal runs. It's a room with floor-to-ceiling mirrors, and people spread their arms there to sing, to place the face at the center, to tell the world childhood is sweet, though it tastes like power over, though it tastes like pistachio. These are eyes I make the world so careful with, long static, long talk. Well, you say you want a strong feeling, have one, or someone will think you're withholding. It's like Fed logic, depression fighting escapism. Childhood is so sweet, they say, as they go house to house killing on a thick, recursive loop. And their faces drip, they're wet with effort. Friendship is roughly everywhere, thanks. The uniformed person puts traffic cones down in neat rows, they're bright orange, weeping. What's next is, I'm happy for your jazz concern, it's all sexual. And if I pushed it clear, we'd still be on the street, right inside the boundary. I'm so happy there's nothing going on. Soretta was right about winning, full of information, none glowing, synthetic color in the limbic motor.
It's just people look so good when you trust them, and you don't look.
Millenarian, amoxicillic blues, very missing caramel, very ugly Sunday, hostile, can I help you, from a man in a suit at a building downtown, but we're under a similar heel. I'm a vandal. The grid is on ice with my common plantings, no machine can make me whole. In the DC summer I was devastated, that fire brought lines to my face, and workers in these liberal fits and patterns on the same page of quote pragmatism. I'm a black American taxpayer, but when I woke from my dream of jogger shopping, I was still in this world of enclosure, with the coast in me, the climax. Then I think, the police are strong with this one. It's drama, everything's getting cloned, and in the New York summer I was devastated, and in the Cincinnati summer I was devastated, and in the Iowa summer, but not to fix it. The zoo paid my grandma a lot to leave her home. That old blue house was barely even blue as it fell off the side of the road. When you think of peace, you're sick. My friend, you're sick, your face is lit. As for me, who loves to not suffer, I'm bathed in the brilliant lights of attention.
where propagandists craft a stupid response. The circus is returning, with bells and bombs on, calling on us all to carry that cold to the subway and home. And home. It's always on sight, 'cause pleasure is nowhere. It's always on sight. It's always on sight, 'cause pleasure is nowhere. Saying, look who sleeps rougher than me. It's always on sight, 'cause pleasure is nowhere. Saying, look who sleeps rougher than me. It's always on sight. I will live with intent, not glaring and ripping. Today I did the opposite of what I say I should. Seasons go by like I'm binge watching. Then progress makes a year delicious. Youth passes, but there's no opposite. Time moves as a condition of winter. Can't burn a bridge just to light my way. You should slide through and get your back broke. Feelings I've been stacking like a bankroll. Perceptual weaponry beyond the off-white horizon. I'm upset. They didn't know what they were smiling at. There was no image in the frame. The face is so under. I can't see a face. The face is so under. I can't see a face. The face is so under. My consciousness is so centered. You scrutinize its face. Meanwhile, it models yours. Eye music is an inside joke on the surface of manners, so I thought, even here, the performer and composer seem one and unhappy in the midst of this ecstatic plenitude, in a day dimmed by the distant patter of heads falling. Je vous supplie, ma douce demoiselle, don't let iconography get in the way of what I'm feeling. Attachment is melismatic as it bobs around a familiar center. As aporias and self-perception are filled or what, franchised to new owners and company. In crisis with this, your riotous malfeasance. You actually have no idea what love is. You wouldn't blow my fun with cruelty. Then I see the parent in cold yellow light, action painted, yowling, shoulders bulged and oleaginous moaning. Think, wow. My consciousness is so centered in the rally on the steps. I live through love's gestalt, tall, violent, treacly, relentlessly polyphonic. Still, I don't like when you describe language as rich. Complain. Maybe I'm finally free to go. Maybe I'm finally free to go. Private love, remedial outrage, the most ecstatic anxiety, unchecked burst of rhododendron, make my mind available, conspicuous twitch of legal order, anxious order of ecstasy, ecstatic burst of the law, makes my mind, percentage of melanin, rhododendrons blooming in a crowd, availability of law, unchecked parentage, if ecstasy twitches, field blooming. What is my mind's floral percentage? When ecstasy is available, love bursts, law blooms. Love bursts, law blooms. They tell you war is natural and never ending. I found it hard all my life. I hated it. I hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Pleasure is stubborn in retrospect. First there's love, then there's synchronized time, then there's troops barely secretly in Yemen, Niger, the pre-turnstile zone of the subway, that's happening. Also, there are people out in the sense that love can't be from them, can't be seen assuming any kind of grace. When you broke, you just feel abandoned. Acrylic reds, yellows. I love you 'cause you're on the other side of the room, 'cause steam comes off you in the twilight gone green with night vision. I fall asleep by 3, wake up by 9, 'cause the cars go by so harshly. Then I think, love is coming from me, love is streaming from me. It's there, but there's no time.
That's a good time to get on up. Go get you a hot dog or something. Cause you know who? Don't nobody want us. Bam, you, Alabama State. Morehouse Park, Tennessee State. Bam, you, Alabama State. That's a good time to get on up and go get you a hot dog or something. You know who? Don't nobody want us. Tuskegee Marching Crimson Pipers. Boy, you ain't been. That's a good time to get on up and go get you a hot dog or something. Cause you know who? Don't nobody want us. Am I lying? Am I lying? That's a good time to get on up and go get you a hot dog or something. Cause you know who? Don't nobody want us. And why the bass drum don't never get no love? Bam, you, Alabama State. Morehouse Park, Tennessee State. Tuskegee Marching Crimson Pipers. Boy, you ain't been. Get your ass.
Education is the answer. Know what you're talking about. Be qualified. Be ready. Then you don't have a problem. Be ready. Know what you're doing. You know, I'm glad to join your shine shoes. Step to the radio station WRDW.
You might want to come out here and put some belts on us. But the only belt we gonna be wearing around here is a tag team belt. Let me tell you something. I don't like being up here. I was getting out my car, I slipped and fell into tobacco spit. And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but chicks up here.
I know it. I've been there. I'm not using from imagination, I'm talking from experience.
Let me tell you something. I don't like being up here. I was getting out my car, I slipped and fell into tobacco spit. And you know what I'm saying? Nothing but rednecks up here. Nothing but geeks up here. Nothing but coal miners up here. Chicken farmers.
Subject. can cover. I'm out on a walk, maybe in spite of, maybe because of the brutal wind. And, you know, I'm remembering walking with you and Imani and recording you reading. And I think, I don't know, I really do think it's important to like read poems like while doing something. Like, I mean, you know, it's like reading is doing something, but I think there's something about like the world passing as you are reading. You know, or there's something like about like reading while walking, there's something about reading if you can stomach it while driving. And the sort of like it's like it places it back in the world that it's already in and for and of. I'm offering you back the sort of walking meditation so willingly took part in. I'm going to read two things. A Mercurial. May it remain unchartered, chatter of late singing mockingbirds. It is daybreak, no matter when awakened. How else to halt the haunting but to avoid the night? All but half the hall, hoarse with remembering. A Mercurial inevitabilities bend what was anticipated, flout an already broken relativity. You speak tenderly amidst the swelling of air, spoke of leap years somberly. I dare not repeat the spell. Exponential, the volume of rosebush where you live blushed forth in bloom, second and third and fourth time round. Useless in your eagerness to learn all things in part, to part as you please. Burning all over bruised fruit, baby, what a time we're in. Worn thin by the very ambition. Darting through thorn-thrown twig metropolis. You take it all for granted. Returning nest empty, still mocking its very nature. Hardcore set. For dime, the ageless Monday nights that kept me, and all who joined. I could say more, but I would have said everything. The mind-body divide remains a great challenge, though everyone has seemingly moved on. It isn't becoming or useful for anyone. I'm ashamed of all obligations to time and labor. Feet on ground, long-standing ceremony, worms in feeble dirt. The rising roots preamble, as the tree become waters overswelling, relentless tide, it's impossible not to feel betrayed by you. This isn't where I thought we were headed. What a beautiful night, despite all that oppresses us. The range of things you have done for sugar. Salt. Take me into night hour, and I've gone footloose, and the fog machine hisses like a locomotive. They throw back their heads screaming, techno saved my life. It gave me my body back for a while. Here's to glaring. Here's to you. Mean mugging, looking back.
Yeah. The computers and shit. Yeah.